Hey y'all, let's make some barbecue ribs. So you're gonna take a medium onion and just chop it up into bigger chunk pieces, and get your garlic and just take the skin off. You're gonna put it in the blender after this, and then here you see the ginger. This spoon really helps taking out the skin really easily. Kind of acts like a knife in itself. And just put some oil, about a quarter in total, and we're gonna just put in that bowl. We're gonna put some spices, some black pepper, paprika, cumin powder, and thyme. You know, if you ain't sneezing, you didn't season. And then moving on, we're gonna put some lime juice in there, you know, and then just make sure you mix up that oil and spice it really good. And we're gonna put in the onions, the garlic, and the ginger as well, and then mix it up really good before putting it up in the blender. And then when we move out to the blender, we are gonna start putting it on low. We don't want it to splash too much, and make sure everything is in there. We don't want to leave anything out. And for this marinade, we don't want it to be too chunky, and we're just gonna kind of blend it to be more creamy and all that stuff. And then we're gonna add some more oil. We're gonna transfer it to the bowl, and now we can start just putting all that blend on the meat. And I like to use a baking sheet. It's kind of less messier, to be honest. And I just dab up the excess like liquid on top after washing it, and then I just take out the membrane here. It can be tricky at times, but it is doable, and it kind of helps just make sure the flavors stay in there as well. And then make some plus signs across the meat. Just get some flowers in there, heat in there as well. I love using the honey mustard. You can use normal mustard, it's okay, but just to make sure it's really blended on the entirety of the meat as well, and on both sides. And here I just wanted to try some out. I just want to put the salt immediately, like directly on the meat. And similarly, make sure you put enough salt on there. Now we'll put the mixture, the marinade, on top, and make sure you cover everything on there, just to make sure that all the flavors are equally matched as much as possible. And then tap it. You don't want to like spread it out too much, and then do it on both sides as well as here. The foil here is we're gonna mostly use it for the whole entire cooking process. And then you can toss out that baking sheet. We don't really need it anymore. And we're gonna put on some mustard as well on this side. Make sure it's really nice and blended in. And then we're gonna just take the salt and sprinkle all over the meat as well. And take the mix. I like just spreading out a little bit just to make sure each side gets enough, and just tap it on there, similar to this. At first you can spread it out, but make sure you tap it so each part gets enough. And then we're just gonna wrap it up like a baby. And now we're gonna put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes for it to marinate, and say just all the mixed blends to just come together, do its job. And you can also do this overnight, and it will enhance the flavor as well. We're gonna transfer it to a baking sheet. We're gonna let it come up to room temp first before putting it in the oven. We're gonna do about 300 degrees for 2.5 hours, but don't take a nap though. And then we're gonna take some lukewarm water and some brown sugar. We're gonna mix it. This is gonna be kind of like our first base of the meat. And this is how the meat is gonna look like after you take it out. This is about 2.5 hours. And we're just gonna take the mixture and just gonna tap it on there, and just gives it a little sweet taste, and then kind of helps it with the drying process, because the mixture is still a little wet and just moving all over the place. We're gonna put it back in the oven for about 45 minutes. And then in a small pan, we're gonna take barbecue sauce, and brown sugar, and some honey. We're gonna mix it up in there and just on low heat. And this will just enhance the flavor. It's gonna make it more sweet. And if you want to add more barbecue, you can. And just depending on the sweetness level you want, you can add more or use less. And here we're just gonna do the same thing. Just tap the barbecue sauce on there. And I like to put each side in the oven first a little bit, so the barbecue can settle before doing the broiling process, which is this is what I'm doing right now, broiling it on both sides. And so after I flip it, I like doing the bottom side first before I broil the main meaty side, and I'll Put on some more barbecue wrap. Now you can start rubbing it and less of tapping it as well. Broil it for 5 to 10 minutes on both sides, and after that, pull it out and just add some more barbecue on there. Finishing off the flavor. And let me tell y'all, I was running on the house after I took that first bite, so I know y'all will enjoy this.